figured I'd just record this. So this, actually I'll show this first. This is an old pair of Frye boots, made in USA. Bought them quite a while ago. They originally were kind of painted here, and I'll throw some pictures I think I took on my phone before I did it, or while I was sanding it. It just looked kind of cheap, It's like a really thick edge dressing coating of a dark brown, and kind of just made the boots look cheap and silly. I mean, they are kind of cheap with the, overly corrected grain here. I mean, they're not terrible, but they just didn't have kind of any finesse or anything nice. I mean, they're decently built, made in USA, like I said. It has a V-rim, V-bar sole or half sole. This is like a Frye proprietary cap there, and you could tell, sort of like Wesco, this is definitely put like a leather board in the middle. That's why it's a different color. Anyway, I sanded it. It looked really dry and kind of ugly. What did I do? I did open offs like multiple times. May have done Smiths as well, but definitely multiple dressings of open offs. And the first one didn't really do much after it sucked in, but after I think 2 or 3 coatings and you let it absorb, it looks okay now, but it's still kind of a little flat. And I feel like when these get wet, if I ever wear them again, which with all the PNW stuff, probably not too common or likely or common if I do wear them, but whatever. I was bored. I had seen discussions about, this is a piece of beeswax. I actually bought this from Buckle Guy. You could see, it's probably not gonna, probably too dark. There we go, maybe you can see it. Phoebings, beeswax, 1 ounce. It was like $5, $10, something like that. I think it was $5. And probably $10 now with inflation. Anyway, I was thinking I could, kind of rub it into the sole, and I think I was gonna melt it with what do you call the lighter, with the kind of a little jet, like a butane lighter. And I did that initially, and I'm gonna burn the boots, and it just wasn't very effective. And then I remembered my wife has this kind of crafting heat gun. If this can actually focus, I think she just got it off Amazon or something like that. And went ahead and tried it, and it actually worked out really well. So this is the one I did the other day, and you can see, I mean, it makes a real big difference. And you basically just kind of rub this in, kind of leaves a bunch of, dry or whatever wax on the surface, and then you run the heat gun, it melts. And then I kind of smoothed it in a little bit. Had to do sometimes a few layers of it to kind of fully penetrate, and then I just came back with it's like a polishing whatever shoe cloth. I think I got this in one of those little hotel kits, in the bathroom, but it's basically like I think it's cotton, but just like a shoe shine cloth, and then you just kind of rub it back and forth. You can see some of the fibers stay in there, but it kind of gave it a shine, and it looks real good. It still gives you the contrast, and you see the leather, more so than it originally looked, where it's just kind of like almost like brown paint. I mean, it looked really crappy, but with the beeswax, it should be protected from some rain. There's a couple spots, I don't know, I might go back, see if I can get a little more in there. You can see, we get the light right, where, whatever, it's like some maybe possibly drier spots, but very happy with it. So I figured go ahead and do this boot too, and record it, and then maybe if this is useful for someone, you could, I don't know, get some value out of this. So anyway, let's get started. So first thing is kind of rub it in, the beeswax, and like I said, it's gonna just leave kind of a thick coating, I don't know, like pasty kind of coating on there, and I'll show you up close. Doesn't look good, but you'll see in a moment. Hopefully the heat gun doesn't pick up too much on my mic, but watch what happens when you melt this. of did a little bit more. Trying to get it into these areas that look drier. And then eventually I'll use my finger to kind of spread it in. It's pretty hot, but it's not too bad. Actually, it's not even melted enough. You can actually see it's already penetrating into the leather, kind of like soaks in. And then when it's warm, and you actually can melt a decent amount onto it, which is cool. And then you just keep going back. It's really soaking in right here. I'm not sure if that's indicative of the leather being really dry or something. Try to do it on the smooth part, not all this pasty stuff. Seems like it does a better job. Should have mentioned that before. The whole thing was pasty initially, but then I can kind of, once it melts, it looks a little better. Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to look for myself. But anyway, you get the idea. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do the rest and maybe not talk too much. You know, I just got a little on the boot. I don't want that to melt. I was trying to just warm this up slightly to do this next area. It's been a few days since I did the other one. I feel like it didn't require this much. It's like I'm going over it a lot of times, but whatever. I'm just trying to get a uniform darkness here because you can kind of see splotchiness. I'm also kind of rubbing it into the side of the rubber. Funny, the boot actually gets pretty warm. I can feel it on the other side. I'm sorry, this is kind of weird to show the camera here. And you can see I'm just doing small sections to try to, I don't know, go through it a little bit more consistently. Sorry about that. I'm trying to find the right spot for the camera so the focus doesn't keep getting nailed. It's pretty cool too, watching it darken. Smells pretty nice too, the beeswax. All right, I'm gonna preheat this a little bit. You know, something I was just thinking about is my half sole nicks. The underside right here is just kind of exposed leather. I put a little bit of not open offs. I think I put Smiths on it, but you see all these water stains just from like walking in after a rain. Maybe I should do some of this beeswax to like protect it better than even open offs. I'm just convinced this is like a harder, like more like a shell, sort of like the thick wax coating on the Predator leathers. Kind of gives it some toughness. I kind of feel like this, you know, solid beeswax will do a better job than open offs, but I might be wrong about that. And I'd be careful. I'm not trying to minimize how long I'm heating this because, you know, the cements they use are kind of heat activated. Like you wouldn't want to pry at this right now when it's warm. So I'm trying to only do enough to melt the beeswax fully in. This is where the other one definitely needed a lot. And I showed you what looks like maybe dry spots. I remember the other heel did require a ton of it. You can see it kind of like sucks it up every time. Assume it has to kind of soak into the surface, a little under the surface, I should say, and then it stops looking dry. I don't know, I think that's good enough. Let's just finish this guy off. Let's do the back. Put a thick coating on this because, like I said, it seems like it sucks in a ton in the heel. I realize I'm gonna need to clean my wife's heat gun thing because it has wax all over it. From the wax, from rubbing it in. I think we are getting near done though. I think that's good enough. Like I said, I can do more later. I'm gonna let this sit here for a second and then I'm gonna kind of polish it up, like I said. All right, it's been a few minutes. I was actually just cleaning the wax off my wife's heat gun. So if you're curious, this is the one, you know, some craft thing. I'm just used to the really big, like shop ones you'd have. My brother had one growing up in the garage, but this works for this purpose at least. Nice thing with the wax is once it's kind of cooled off, it's hard, so you can actually just scrape it off. So I was able to just you know, scrape it all off her heat gun with the piece of paper towel. So anyway, I'm gonna kind of polish this up because it's kind of dull looking, and you know, just like anything, just like shiny your shoes or anything, something about the friction. Same with brushing, you know, with a horsehair brush on your shoe or your boot. These cloths kind of work the same. That's why they're using those hotel shoe kits. You can get the general gist. You saw how dull this was a moment ago. No, I don't know, it almost looks like it darkens it a little bit. I guess it's maybe just showing through because it's kind of like a film, but like right here. Can't tell if I need to add more here or I just need to polish it more. I don't know. It looks like I might need to add more there. Yeah, I think there's need a little bit more there maybe. This heel looks good. What am I doing? Spinning this thing all around. Kind of dull, and then you can see the shine. So here it is dull. Starts to give it a little. Starts to shine it up. And here's some of the spots I was talking about. Sorry, the light's kind of weird. It's possible I might need a little more like the other one. But I don't care too much about that. The other side over here on the other side did look a little dry. So I think I might, when I finish going through, touch that one up a little bit. But yeah, that's basically it. We kind of finished doing this. Maybe add a little more here, and then I'll show you the finished product here in a moment. Well, that's it. That spot, I don't know, I think it might just be, maybe more went in there or something, that darker area that I was talking about right here. But I've added a little more, it didn't really change it. So anyway, it looks pretty much the same as the other one after doing the same thing. Like I said, it's not exactly perfect. The boot I did before on the top here maybe could use a little more on some spots. I don't know, they look pretty similar to be honest. Maybe the heel. Sorry, get that right there. So this is the boot I just did. Here's the boot I did a few days ago. But it looks pretty cool. And I think, you know, it's gonna be more durable than just the open-offs. And definitely looks better than, way better than the, what I'm gonna call the brown paint, whatever, over too much edge dressing. But it even looks better, I think, than just kind of the raw leather with open-offs. It's just, that still kind of looked dry and, sorry, that looked kind of dry and crappy, whereas this looks better. I kind of think it elevates them a little bit, and, you know, I'll wear them tomorrow or something for the hell of it. I haven't worn these in a while. These were some of my favorite boots. This pair and the, what they called the Arkansas boot, which I saw years ago when there was that Buckle Guy channel, or sorry, the Boot Guy channel. I don't know if that dude died or something, he hasn't posted in years, but he had some cool content back in the day. And I grabbed them off Amazon, like pretty cheap, and then they got these later on Amazon cheap, you know, whatever, somebody getting rid of them or something, like closeout kind of thing. You see Wolverines sometimes, but don't wear them too much now with the Pacific Northwest focus, but it's still a decent made boot and still made in USA, and it's very comfortable because they have like a pour-on footbed, which I know may not have the durability of a leather footbed, but it's super comfortable. And yeah, I mean, they're just basic boots, but they're decent. And I think this makes them look a lot better. Makes them look kind of higher end, more like something like a Wolverine 1000 Mile. In a way though, I mean, these are more comfortable. But that's it, simple. All you need is some cheap wax, beeswax, a little polishing cloth, and then some type of heat gun would be useful. And you got yourself a better looking edge on your boots. Cheers.